Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going on a deep dive into some ancient wisdom about food in the body.
That's right. We'll be exploring traditional Chinese medicine.
Specifically, we'll be looking at
the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine.
It's a pretty amazing text.
And in Chapter 56,
I get a fascinating look at the connection between food and the body.
It's all about the 5 flavors. You know, sweet, sour, salty, bitter, spicy.
And how those flavors actually
relate to the 5 major organs.
Heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys.
Yeah. It's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is. So right off the bat, this text describes the stomach as the sea of the body.
What they mean by that is that the stomach is this central hub.
Like a busy port where everything we eat gets processed.
Exactly. And then it's like all the energy or ki from the food
gets sent out to the rest of the organs to fuel them.
It's like the body's central distribution center.
Yeah.
You know, receiving, sorting, sending out supplies.
So that makes sense. But where do those 5 flavors come in?
Well, each flavor has a special affinity for a specific organ. Yeah, so sour flavors, they mainly affect the liver.
Okay.
Bitter goes to the heart, sweet to the spleen, spicy to the lungs, and salty to the kidneys.
So, like, if I'm feeling a little sluggish, maybe my liver needs a boost.
Right.
Does that mean I should just load up on, like, lemons?
Well, it's not about focusing on just one flavor. It's more about balance, you know? Understanding the relationships between the flavors so you can create a diet
that works with your body.
Yeah, that's in harmony with your body.
So what else does this ancient text tell us about eating for health?
Well, it really emphasizes grains as the foundation.
Grains?
Yeah, they saw the refined essence of grains as the key energy source.
Interesting, because you hear so much these days about, like,
different diets.
Yeah, some saying to eat lots of grains, others saying cut them out completely.
Right, and this ancient wisdom kind of challenges us to think
about how our bodies use different types of fuel.
Exactly. So this idea that our energy drops without grains
makes you wonder about some of those modern low-carb diets. It really does gives us something to think about.
So it's not just about the 5 flavors, it's also about having grains as a base.
Exactly, and then you build from there, adding different flavors.
And I think the text actually lists specific foods, right?
It does, according to their flavor and organ affinity.
Like a menu from ancient China.
It really is.
Okay, so what's on the menu?
Well, for grains, you've got rice, sesame seeds, soybeans, wheat millet.
Okay, that sounds pretty familiar.
For fruits, there's dates, plums, chestnuts, apricots, and peaches.
What about livestock?
Okay, so this is where it gets a little interesting.
Oh.
They mention beef dog meat.
Dog meat.
Yeah, you know, we have to remember the historical context here.
Right.
But they also include pork mutton and chicken.
So a pretty wide range of protein sources.
And for veggies, they list amaranth chives, cabbage leaves, scallions, spring onions.
It's amazing how much detail they had.
And they even go a step further.
Really?
They link colors to flavors and organs.
So, like, yellow corresponds to sweetness, and the spleen, green to sourness, and the liver.
So we've got these 5 flavors, a whole range of foods, even a color coding system.
Right.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But remember, it's all about balance. It's like a dance between flavors and organs.
I like that analogy.
All working together to create harmony.
So this isn't just a theoretical system.
Definitely not.
They talk about how to use these connections to actually address health issues.
Absolutely. We'll get into that more.
Okay, so if you're feeling out of whack,
right,
this ancient text might have the recipe.
It just might.
Awesome. Well, we'll be right back to continue our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. So we've been talking about those flavor and organ connections.
Right, laying the groundwork.
But there's another layer to this ancient wisdom.
We haven't even touched on it yet.
Oh, really? What's that?
Cooking methods.
Oh, interesting. So we've got the ingredients figured out.
Right.
But now how do we actually cook them?
Well, the Yellow Emperor's Classic, it actually gets into the specifics of cooking techniques.
So they believe that how you cook something can change how it impacts your body.
Exactly. It's about fine-tuning those energetic properties of the food, you know, to achieve balance.
Makes sense.
So think of it like the ingredients provide the base.
Okay.
And then the cooking method is like the conductor shaping the energy of the dish.
Okay, so give me some examples.
Yeah.
How does this work in practice?
Well, for instance, the text suggests that grilling or roasting, it enhances the yang energy of food.
So something like a fiery stir fry. Would be considered very yang.
Yeah, very warming and stimulating.
Okay.
On the other hand, steaming or boiling, those are seen as more yin.
Okay.
Promoting cooling and moistening effects.
So if you're feeling overheated a little inflamed.
Right.
A soothing bowl of soup might be in order.
Exactly.
It's not just about the method itself, right? It's also about the duration.
Absolutely. Cooking times, they can really influence the final energy of the dish.
So how long you cook something matters.
It really does.
Interesting. And they talk about overcooking being a no-no?
Yeah, generally discouraged.
What's the reasoning behind that?
They believed that cooking something for too long could actually deplete the vital essence of the food.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Cooking just long enough
to enhance the flavors.
But not so long that you lose those nutrients.
Exactly.
This is starting to sound a lot like mindful eating.
It is. There's definitely a strong element of mindfulness in this approach.
Yeah.
You know, being present throughout the whole process.
From selecting the ingredients.
To preparing them.
And savoring each bite.
Exactly. It's not just about filling your stomach.
It's about nourishing your body.
And soul.
So how does all of this apply to our modern lives?
That's a great question.
I mean, it's one thing to read about it.
Right.
But can we actually do this?
You know, it's easy to get caught up in convenience these days.
Prepackaged meals, fast food.
It's a valid question.
Is it even possible to follow these ancient principles?
Well, it's not about being rigid or obsessive.
Okay.
You don't need to recreate an ancient Chinese kitchen.
Right.
But even incorporating some of these principles in small ways can make a difference.
So maybe being more conscious of the flavors.
Exactly.
And how they might be affecting our bodies.
And experimenting with different cooking methods.
Like, could we try steaming our vegetables instead of microwaving?
Chicken instead of frying it.
I love that it's about thinking beyond just convenience.
Yeah.
Really considering how food choices and cooking methods impact our health.
It all ties back to that idea of balance.
Finding what works for you.
Exactly, for your unique constitution.
And I love how this system emphasizes cooking methods.
It's a good reminder.
How we prepare our food is just as important as what we eat.
Absolutely. It's about respecting the ingredients.
Treating them with care.
Recognizing that connection between what we eat and how we feel.
So before we wrap up, there's one more aspect of this ancient system.
Oh, yeah.
That I want to explore.
You mean seasonal eating?
Exactly.
That's something that's gaining a lot of traction these days.
It is. It's the idea of eating what's in season, right?
Right, like fresh strawberries in the summer.
Root vegetables in the winter.
Exactly.
But according to ancient Chinese medicine,
there's a much deeper layer to it.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
They believed that eating in harmony with the seasons was a key way to maintain balance in the body.
So it's not just about what's freshest. It's about choosing foods that actually support your body.
During each season. Precisely. We'll dive into the specifics next time. But for now, just think about each season has its own unique energy. And we can align our diets with those energies.
To optimize our health.
Exactly.
This is all starting to make so much sense.
Good.
All right, everyone, be sure to join us for the final part,
where we'll explore how to eat in harmony with the seasons.
All right, so we're back and ready to dig into seasonal eating.
The final course of our deep dive.
And we left off talking about how each season has its own unique energy.
Right, and remember aligning our diets with those energies. That's key.
Okay, so let's break it down season by season.
Okay, sounds good.
What's on the menu for spring? You know, a time of renewal growth.
Spring is associated with the wood element. And the liver. So it's a time for things to emerge, you know, reach for the sky.
And we learned earlier that sour flavors benefit the liver.
Right, but it's not just about, like, chugging vinegar.
Right.
It's about incorporating those foods that embody that light upward energy.
Well, give me some examples. What kind of foods are we talking about?
Think fresh leafy greens, you know. Spinach, kale. Tender sprouts. Lightly cooked vegetables like asparagus.
Green beans.
Yeah, foods that just burst with vitality.
It's like you're tasting spring in every bite.
That's the idea.
Okay, so we've sprung into action with those light flavors.
Right.
What about summer, those long, hot days?
Summer, that's all about the fire element and the heart when the sun's at its strongest.
Everything's in full bloom.
Exactly.
And bitter flavors are associated with the heart.
Right.
Does that mean we should be eating bitter melon all summer?
Well, a touch of bitterness is good, but summer is more about cooling and hydrating foods.
To counter that intense heat.
Exactly. It's about balance.
Makes sense. So what kind of foods help us stay cool and balanced?
Think juicy fruits, watermelon berries. Refreshing cucumbers, tomatoes, even herbs like mint cilantro.
Those sound delicious.
Yeah, perfect for hot days.
What about cooking methods? Should we be firing up the grill or keeping things low and slow?
Well, remember yin and yang cooking methods?
Yeah.
Summer is a great time to favor those lighter yin techniques.
Like steaming.
Sugar frying.
Quick grilling.
Right, to preserve those fresh flavors.
So we're tapping into those cooling energies?
On every level.
Okay, we've basked in the warmth of summer.
Right.
Let's move on to autumn as the days get shorter. Leaves start to change.
Autumn is associated with the metal element.
Right.
And the lungs.
Uh-huh.
It's a time for letting go, harvesting what we've sown.
Preparing for winter.
Exactly.
And I remember spicy flavors are good for the lungs.
Right.
Does that mean we should be loading up on chili peppers and ginger?
Well, some pungent spices can be good.
Okay.
But autumn is more about incorporating foods that moisten and nourish the lungs.
Okay, because the air gets drier.
Exactly.
So what kind of foods would fit that description?
Think about those fruits and vegetables that nature provides in autumn, like pears, apples, root vegetables like sweet potatoes and carrots.
Uh-huh.
And those warming spices, cinnamon, nutmeg.
They all sound so comforting and nourishing.
Perfect for chilly evenings.
And what about the cooking methods? Should we be adjusting our approach as the weather cools down?
Absolutely, as the yang energy of summer fades.
Right.
It's a good time to embrace those warming yin techniques. Roasting, baking, stewing, to extract the warmth and nourishment.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about winter, the coldest time of year.
Winter is all about the water element.
Okay.
And the kidneys.
Uh-huh.
It's a time for rest, introspection, conserving energy.
Recharging.
Exactly.
And salty flavors are good for the kidneys.
Right.
Does that mean we should just be reaching for the salt shaker?
Well, a little salt's important.
Okay.
But winter's more about those warming, nourishing foods that support the kidneys.
Okay, to provide insulation against the cold.
Exactly.
So what kind of food should we be eating?
Hearty soups and stews.
Okay.
Beans, lentils.
Uh-huh.
Root vegetables, parsnips, turnips.
Okay.
Those warming spices, ginger, black pepper, to stoke our inner fire.
Those all sound so hearty and satisfying.
It's perfect for those cold days when you just want to stay warm.
Absolutely. And what about the cooking methods? Should we be changing things up in the kitchen?
Winter is a perfect time to embrace those long, slow cooking methods.
Like?
Slow cooking braising to extract the warmth.
This whole concept of seasonal eating is so fascinating.
It is. It's really about aligning our diets with nature.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, to nourish our bodies in a way that really supports our well-being.
I always thought of healthy eating as a puzzle.
A puzzle.
Trying to figure out what's good, what's bad.
Right.
But this ancient system makes it feel so much simpler.
It's not about rules or deprivation.
Right.
It's about finding harmony.
Exactly. Tuning into our bodies and the natural world.
Making choices that support us throughout the year.
So listeners, as you go about your day, think about how you can incorporate some of this ancient wisdom.
Maybe try adding some spring greens to your next meal.
Or savor a juicy watermelon on a hot summer day.
Experiment with those different cooking methods.
Notice how even small changes
can make a difference.
Most importantly, listen to your body.
And enjoy the journey.
That's right. And that concludes our deep dive into ancient Chinese food wisdom.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, happy and healthy eating, everyone.